Man is nothing else but what he makes of himself. Such is the first principle of existentialism. Jean-Paul Sartre. We all know Minecraft. It's the highest selling and arguably most popular game of all time. It's simple. You create and you destroy. Plunder the natural world for its resources, and from that build anything your brain can conjure up. Whether that be a city, a man-made mountain, or a giant statue of Mario, it can be done in Minecraft. The game means a lot to me personally, and means a lot to millions of others around the world. I remember when I was maybe 10 or 11, constructing giant buildings and roller coasters on my mom's iPad, and seeing my incredible creations and thinking I was some sort of mastermind with all this engineering and creativity. But there gets to a point in everyone's world when you start to ask questions. Why am I doing this? I can't share this with anyone, so really, what's the point? And the benign and menial relationships and transactions between villagers, mobs, and pets don't give a sense of fulfillment. You're an Adam with no Eve. And most of the time when one starts to ask these questions, they get less and less interested in their world and it becomes abandoned. Minecraft is a lot of things. It's revolutionary, it's engaging, it's exceptionally creative, and it's also the most existential and lonely game I've ever played. I believe you ask three main questions before a Minecraft world truly becomes lost. R.C. Sproul describes in his book The Consequences of Ideas, existentialism is the philosophy of existence. A simple notion with such power and so many questions behind it. The philosophy of existentialism started around the late 19th century with philosophers Soren Kierkegaard, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Jean-Paul Sartre. All three found their roots in existentialism and drew their own conclusions about life. Kierkegaard claiming essentially that God was in control and we simply need to have faith in him. Nietzsche concluding that life was pointless and thus forming the philosophy of nihilism. And Sartre explaining that life was meaningless unless man gave meaning to it through their personal actions, labor, and ideas. I'm sure there are smarter people out there who could explain their personal philosophies better than me, but you get the idea. Existentialism asks questions about the idea and meaning of existence, of man's purpose, and the idea that man simply is. Man exists, and thus must define or create himself somehow, or not at all. Why are you here? What purpose do you serve? Is there a point to any of this? Really, you could say all philosophy, and religion as well, have some sort of root in existentialism. Now that you understand the concepts that make up the philosophy of existentialism, let's talk about Minecraft. When you first boot up Minecraft, you are. You simply are. There is no family for you to be born into, no infrastructure for you to call your own, no neighbors to talk to, and not even a deity to pray to. You are unique in the fact that there are none with your power to simply exist. From your spawn point, you can do anything you set your mind to. You can create a house, make farms for food or supplies, adventure the infinite world of blocks, or venture underground to find ancient structures of a bygone era. It is up to you to define yourself, our first connection to existentialism. You must build yourself from the ground up in order to one day create magnificent things. I don't think any video game comes close to expressing this idea of self-definition like Minecraft does. Once you've explored the world, fought and destroyed giant beasts, ventured into new dimensions, built gigantic structures and things only able to be built in a game as grand as Minecraft, and even gained the power to fly, you start to ask, what can't I do? This is the first question players ask, and the start of many players' existential journey. The idea that you've progressed so much that you're essentially a god in your world. And once you have the power to do anything, everything becomes irrelevant. For what then matters is to bear witness to the uniquely human potential at its best, which is to transform a personal tragedy into a triumph, to turn one's predicament into human achievement. Viktor E. Frankl. Humanity needs tragedy. Adversity, challenge, death, it all makes us human. So once you ascend to something greater than man, things start to lose meaning. That's why people born into rich families, those who have never worked a day in their lives, are often the most depressed and nihilistic out of all of us. Every time I reach the endgame in a Minecraft world, I end up just getting sad and abandon it. I always ask, why would I create all of this if I have no one to share it with? This is the second question in our existential journey. It's where Minecraft doesn't just become existential, but lonely. Just like Adam from Genesis in the Bible, we see all these things around us and wish we had someone to be with, someone to share our creation. The only difference is we never get an Eve. We never get an equal. The closest thing we get to a meaningful interaction is just trading with villagers or taming wolves. We are eternally alone. The player just ends up building cities and great monuments with no one but themselves to inhabit them. No matter what you believe in, I think we can all agree that humans were meant to have deep, intimate relationships with other humans. We were made for connection. And in a game as lonely and quiet as single-player Minecraft, we never experience this meaningful interaction. This second question then ultimately leads us to a final breaking point. A point where this existentialism and loneliness finally destroys us with one question: why does this matter? This is a question that can be applied to all of life, and one that has plagued humanity since the time of Thales and Socrates in ancient Greece. So many have come to their own conclusions. Some say our purpose is to glorify our Creator for beyond eternity. Others say we don't have a purpose and we were simply put here by chance and one day we'll die and that's it, we're gone. But in Minecraft, you live forever. You can do anything with unlimited time and resources, but you have no one to share it with and no fulfillment in what you make anymore. So the question keeps pounding in your head: why am I doing this? Why am I wasting my time? You get to a point where you just start playing less and less, and every time you return scratching your head saying, what am I meant to do next? What meaningful thing can I possibly do here? And one day, you stop returning to it altogether. You give up and abandon the world you created. And with this notion of abandonment leaves one more tragedy. Everyone has at one point returned to a long-forgotten world. I know I have. Plenty of times. Booting up Minecraft one day because you're bored, only to remember an awesome world where you had fantastical creations. You desperately look for this world, needing to unlock those memories and remember what it was like to be younger and full of inspiration. You find that world and immediately get hit with a wave of emotion as you see builds that, in reality, are simple lines of code, but to you, in that moment, they mean the world. Minecraft not only is extremely existential and lonely, but it also represents the passing of time and the loss of youth. But this feeling of returning to a world brings with it good feelings, like what you did does matter, making the experience of Minecraft not tragic, but tragically beautiful. This children's game where you build with blocks and fight cube-shaped monsters is shrouded in a shadow of truly mature and philosophical themes. Or maybe I'm just reading into it way more than any human being ever should. You be the judge. All I know is I truly believe at least some of these themes are purposeful. I mean, just listen to the game. Listen to C418's masterful score. Does that not evoke a sense of liminality? A notion of sadness but at the same time meaningfulness? Look at the game. Look at all the structures hidden throughout its world, from simple igloos to gigantic underground labyrinths and entire floating cities in the outskirts of the end. It gives a sense of passing time, a sense of death, sure, but it also lets your imagination run wild with ideas of what happened to these ancient builders, where they are now, and the idea that perhaps you really aren't alone after all. There's so much more I could talk about, but I'll leave it at that. I hope this video really made you think and realize how incredible games like Minecraft really are, and I thank you for watching until now. If you want to see more of these ridiculous videos, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed or shared this video with a friend. Please have a wonderful day.